Thanks for watching Afternoon Live. Do you have a love-hate relationship with self-checkouts? Would you be a fan of 4-day work weeks? The landscape of work in America is ever-changing, and here with her take on what we can expect in the future, we welcome the author of Working Assumptions, What We Thought We Knew About Work Before COVID and Generative AI, and What We Know Now, Julia Hobsbawm. Thanks for joining us, Julia.
Hello, my pleasure.
Let's talk about something that we all experience quite often, self-checkout. Is this still the direction of our customer service experience, or do you think that it will be pulled back in the future?
It's a great question. I have to say, I really don't like self-checkouts myself. Look, the march of AI for service-led provision in jobs is speeding up. So yes, there's going to be more jobs that are automated, more jobs where a co-pilot, a computer, a robot, with a human in the background, you know, that lovely person who hovers when you shout at the checkout and say, it's not working. Um, so on one level, yes, humans are being edged out by technology, but there are many other things that are also changing where the human is staying firmly in post.
Okay, what about non-compete clauses? This is going to affect a lot of people, and I think a lot of us don't have a great understanding of what that will look like moving forward.
Well, I mean, you're running through a great span of questions, and my job actually is to try and look at the trends globally and particularly in the US and the UK to say how is work and working life changing? And one of the biggest changes is that power is shifting, and power is shifting basically to the worker. And so what used to happen is that workers would have to sign NDA clauses and non-compete clauses and things that would really be advantageous to those people hiring them. Um, and that's changing because even though if you're offering a job, you have power, and if you're going to fire somebody, you have power. It's really expensive to recruit and train people with skills, and productivity is much better if people are engaged. So that's one of the reasons why power is shifting, and one of the reasons why those NDA and non-compete clauses are being edged out.
Okay, that's super interesting. What about younger workers, folks in Gen Z who are coming into the workforce for the first time, and different expectations that they have? And are they wanting to be paid more for roles that don't have a remote or a hybrid option?
Yes, there's a great desire amongst the young to have full flexibility and freedom, even though they actually need the stability and the camaraderie often more than older workers who might choose to have greater flexibility because they have their networks and they're experienced in their jobs. So Gen Z sort of want to have it all. They want to have their cake and eat it. Um, but on the other hand, what Gen Z really seem to care about is purpose, is working for organizations that do good things, whether it's for the climate, whether it's politically. And again, it's one of the reasons why work is getting complicated. About half of workers now talk about politics in the workplace. You've got an election coming up. You've had some extreme turbulence in politics in the US, uh, in America, and that's now being talked about at work. And all of these things didn't used to happen in the office. People used to put on, you know, a little bit of a uniform and keep their opinions to themselves. So it's just another one of those changes. And the young are very behind those changes.
Yeah, super interesting to kind of understand how the perspective has shifted over time. Really briefly, we only have a few moments left with you, but what about the 4-day work week? I feel like we've been hearing about this for decades, and it doesn't seem to be much of a reality for most American workers.
Well, there's a real separation between those white collar workers, usually in the private sector, and those public sector and or blue collar manual workers who what I call the hybrid haves and the hybrid have nots. And that is causing understandable tensions. But what everybody wants is flexibility. And one of the solutions that people think is a good idea is the 4-day week. I don't think it's such a great idea because I think it's quite a rigid model. I think there's an irony that we discuss flexibility, but there is a move to impose a rigid model. However, there are benefits to a 4-day week. It's only 100 years ago that the 5-day week was introduced in America by Henry Ford. It used to be a 6-day week. So there are some that argue the 4-day week is yet more progress. My jury is a little out, but what's absolutely clear is workers have got more power. They want to choose to lead their lives, and they're going to work more productively if they're given more choice and freedom. The 4-day week may turn out to be a good way of doing that.
We'll see. Hey, thank you so much for sharing your perspective with us. It was great chatting with you.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
The book again is called Working Assumptions. We'll have more information on our website at katu.com. We'll be right back with more Afternoon Live right after this.